break down the different areas of code and separate them into their sections so that they can work individually on the sections. Now, whether the people at Warner Brothers, that are writing the crew, whether the crew themselves is dedicated to the game enough and frustrated at the code enough that they decide that, you know what, someone decides in their free time they're going to take at least a certain section of the code, or they're going to start breaking the code down and making it clear what each line is for, or each section is for. I really believe, knowing how programming is, that it's very likely the sections are so mangled that what's happening is someone, and I'm going to be honest, I would not be this happen. Someone at Niantic early on, probably at Inverness, knowing how early in Pokemon Go they started having problems. I don't know on Inverness, but I wouldn't doubt if someone that was about to be fired from Inverness before they were, or that left Inverness before they left completely, had set up or had gotten into the code. One of the programmers got into the code and screwed the thing and threw in some things in different that would connect one area to another area that wasn't supposed to be connected, and hid that within the code. Yeah. And so people understand a lot of people think of Trojan codes and stuff as like viruses and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be a code that'll steal anything. It's almost worse to have it be a code that breaks the game every time you change something. Sounds good. Okay. It doesn't have to be something that like steals something from you or something like that. Okay, I'll wait till you say you're good and I'll say it again. Okay, you're back. It doesn't have to be something that... Which do you want? I have existimal potion ingredient Extravagant Energy, Barufio's Dawdle, and while we're waiting, I'll go into it. It doesn't have to be something that is malicious to your, like steals your information to be Trojan. It can be just something that steals that breaks the game. Yeah, deliberately put bad code in there to screw the pooch. And what they do in that case, usually what's happened is they've taken it and they connect different sections together. And the only way and at first you don't find that out. Basically, they take an unlisted area, or they add code in that's supposed to do one, or in an area that's supposed to do one thing, and they change it. And we'll talk about it in a minute. I'm going to run this while I wait to hear what ingredient or what gift Steph wants. Okay, so my guess is that it was that they went in, and in an area where like it's supposed to be catching, let's say that. In an area it's supposed to catch something. They added code. The music is back because I went in and I was in Stream Raiders. That's why the Stream Raiders screen switched. So basically I have I don't really care. I was just sending because I know you can use things. I'll be honest, I haven't been out for a little while, and I realized you were saying that. I haven't been out for a little while myself, but I had so many. But that's also why I don't have whip potions. Hey, Crafting with Ray. Sounds good. As you can see, I don't have that many gifts, and as you know, whenever I go out, I try to I end up filling those up. I'll show you what I have right now. potions wise, ingredients for the TTD. So, and you already saw where I'm at with my other. Sounds good. Yeah, I don't need healing potions. I will say that one. Healing potions, once again. There was a point they disappeared. I can't remember why. I need TTD stuff just because I still have a lot of ingredients for that. Yes, that's what I was saying, is I can get the TTD stuff just by going out and about. I mean, they show up all the time for me. You can see I'm slowly working my way down, but really it's the berries that I don't have as much of right now, and it's just because I haven't watched for them. Because I didn't need them at the time. So now that I've started watching for them, those 13 I've produced in the past week. If it's potion, I wouldn't complain. But if it's just the ingredient gift, don't need it. But yeah, so I suspect what happened is that someone with the game, someone went in at some point and connected different sections together and didn't label it, either accidentally or purposely. Honestly, the berries are on the ground pretty frequently for me. So I'm not worried about TTDs. It's just it took actually watching for them, because for a long time I had a glut of TTDs. Because as you know, for a long time I didn't even need to use them. I went probably a good year using like only the required. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, is I don't need them. I just hadn't gone after them and hadn't been because I wasn't even using them. But then slowly over time I would need one here and one there, because they quit even having us use them for a while. Then they started adding them back into the requirements, so I would use them just for the requirements. But then some of the requirements got so hard that I was using that I was using 3 or 5 in a day to get through with you guys. And that's when it ate into it and slowly reduced it to the point that I'm at now. I'm sorry, Steph. I wish there was something I could do, but we both know there's not. But I do know how hard it is. Get that. If I lived in an area like you do, I would, but as you know, even for me playing from home, I don't necessarily need them to play. And let's start Omelette Arcade again. So I know you're kind of frozen on the screen, it looks like. It's because Omelette decided I'm not going to play nice and play Ween. I accidentally enabled so. Back. There, got it back to where it should be. So what it is we're using the mic off my computer, not the mic through the phone. And that freezing was exactly, other than the fact we seem to be frozen, but was exactly why I have it. Because then I don't necessarily in it's not going to stream right. Sounds good. I wasn't sure if it was you or me. Or, I mean, yeah. If it's not working for you anymore, I would, because I just reloaded, so. See, there's a Baneberry right there. Oh yeah, I need alchemy too, so I need these ones. Now there is going to be a delay between what I'm saying and what's on the screen. That's not because of yours, it's because the audio is through the computer, but the we're watching it on through Streamlabs. So there is some, so that is a little bit off, and I know that, and I know it can be frustrating at times, but it was the best way I could think of to be able to keep something going, or to keep it going when Streamlabs acted up. So, still 123. Okay, we're good there. Oh, I wanted to check one thing while I was at it. What about over here? Okay, we have not. Oh, we do have one of these. Let's do this. See what happens. No, didn't even bring in the right thing. Worth a try. I'm the what we're gonna. Oh, we have something I need to look at. Guess it was just the fact it had leveled up. Yep, that took care of it. Oh, we have one that came in though. That's good. Not what we needed, but we'll go after it. And we have another one up here. And that is what we do. And you're frozen. Okay, we will go after the rest of the stuff here just because I'm bored. Let's start with these. Seriously, everything else is stuff I don't need. Oh well, we'll just go after it to go after it. So that we can get it off the board, so hopefully more will start showing up. But yeah, so I think for Warner Brothers to fix the code, they would one have to get in some more programmers, and and have those programmers just, even if they were temps or interns, and I can't remember the laws and everything, so let me make that clear. But someone to basically, number one, you'd want someone dedicated to the game. So even if they knew they were going to be temp, they wouldn't try to screw the game over. Hey, I got another gold gift. That's cool. It's been a long time since I got 2 in a row. Well, 2 in a day. So I will go give that one to the next person as soon as I clear the board of these. Okay, those are gone. Eeyore Debbie. You think what might have got lost in a tech error? I did say it, and I'm guessing somewhere, yeah, I'm guessing it got lost when I said it or something. Whether it got lost while we were doing ads or what. No, I have not heard of them. Seriously? I've heard the Tannerite name, but I don't know. But I haven't heard the box. That's why I knew I'd heard the name. Okay, I have heard of the Tannerites. I don't think I have really watched much of it. I heard of them, I think, through one of the YouTube videos that she's not producing videos anymore. I wish she was, because I loved keeping up with her family. The one that I heard of them through is no longer producing videos. The daughter is, but hers are all like makeup videos and whatever. And I will be honest, between streaming and with this and daily life and everything else, I'm not having much time to just watch videos. Plus, I do have a number of friends on Twitch that I like to stay up with. Oh yeah, there's a few of them that have different things like that. And I can't say that there isn't some connection, that maybe in the back of my mind it didn't partway remember hearing them say that. But at the same time, I think, so like for me, those words are a reminder. I hear the "you are worth it" and it's so easy to brush it off. But to hear someone then follow it up with, "I am worth it, everybody's worth it," in my mind, it kind of shifts and makes me realize, wait, it's not just a mantra, it's something they actually believe. They're saying it to, they are saying it to me, not just saying it to someone else that may be watching. Yeah, there's a lot of that in Utah. Sean Duras, I think, was the beginning of that idea. Is stay ever. His mantra is to make every single day, every new day needs to be the very best day. Even days like, I think he showed the day his grandma died, and he said, this is hard and everything else, but I'm still gonna make it the very best day. And I know someone else, I know another family that used to stream and now just or not stream, but video, and now just the daughter does, and they have one very similar. And honestly, that idea, and I think you know this already, is basically a church concept. Everybody in this world is worth it. But I will admit that for me, and this may just be me, but I would hear them say, "you are worth it," or whatever. And for some reason it was, well, yeah, other people are, they're talking to other people or whatever. Or as a, they're saying it to themselves. Those words, try I'm to. Exactly. And that's kind of, and that's why I used those 3 words when I wrote the poem. I didn't want it to just say, you are worth it, or I am worth it. I wanted it to be all of it, because it just kind of pounds home, no, I'm trying to talk to you. Don't brush this off. It's not just anyone, it's you. And that's the key is, yeah. Oh, and that's what I'm trying. So self is important. But a lot of times when someone's vlogging or something, it's very easy to say they're talking about themselves. They're not telling me to feel this way about myself. Exactly. But my thing is, it was so easy when I heard those things on YouTube and whatever to say they're talking to someone else, not me. Especially because I'll be honest, I heard those words. Those are things we over and over. So when I was at my most stressed, I was hearing those words. But it never rang home that it was me. That I am worth it. To me, it was, well, yeah, you're talking to everyone else, but I wouldn't be. But when they used the word, but I do remember that if they pounded it home like that, when the few times someone would pound something home with you, I, everyone, or yeah. And so putting all 3, wait, why are you saying it 3 times? And you start to realize they aren't saying it 3 times. They're telling you, they're saying it individually to every one of us that you are worth it. Or however you want. And I'm not saying it will for sure, but I hope that concept, and there's 3 different ways, and there's different ways of looking at it too. I know some people who when they're depressed, they think they're the only person in the world. And as they get out of themselves and start looking at the worth of others, then they become no longer, their depression starts going away. And so hearing everybody is worth it can be a reminder to, oh, wait, let's look at this closer. And we're frozen again, so I'm going to do Streamlabs. That's not Streamlabs. That may be part of why we're freezing more. Let's see. And not even Streamlabs, StreamReaders. Let's reload. Whereas others, my hope is that people will realize that it's everyone. Yeah. And that was my thing. I want it worth it, or I want it to help everyone. I'm glad to hear that whether it's their mantra or what's said in our song, I'm glad that it's helping. And that was actually, like I said, one of the reasons I wanted all 3 terms was I was hopeful that it would become clear, it would be clear enough to people that they would realize that each person could take the portion of it they needed to realize that, for some, realizing that saying to themselves, I am worth it, is the words they need. Others saying to you, you are worth it, is the words they need. And I totally understand. That's part of the reason for my safety command. That's part of the reason I have the bop there, is I hope my stream is always that safe place. And I'm glad you sent me the message, because then I didn't, because she was still live when I was getting ready to switch from my other stream, because they got off. And so I probably would have switched back to just see, oh, what was the other stream I was watching? And yeah. So because of your message, I was able to just quickly choose a stream to watch. To know that as soon as I went over, I needed to be ready to click on a stream. It comes across with Amy's book is that even if you are different, or appear different than we're used to. Yeah. I am so glad you warned me, because I've been through enough of that, yeah. And I hope, or sometimes you have to so like, I felt that, yeah, I don't do them because of the nightmares they give me, but the torture of a young girl, especially depending on the type of torture, it could have totally been a trigger for my PTSD. Not just nightmares, but triggered my PTSD. And so, because I'll get kind of honest here. So my PTSD was triggered by a night when I was kidnapped by a family friend for a few hours and raped. And I never told my parents because I was out looking at stars when I was supposed to be in bed. I'd snuck out of bed. And so, yeah. For me, Steve, that really would have been a trigger for me. And I'm going to try and get off that because I prefer to leave that in the past. And I appreciate that that you check for things like that. I generally, if I like to follow in on a raid, but the first swear word I hear, or generally if the game gets just, I'm not I just can't take it, I'll leave. Yeah. And I know it now. The reason I brought up I didn't say anything at the time is that's part of the issue. If my family would have known, I might have been able to receive treatment that would have helped me prevent the PTSD. It may have helped with other, it would have helped me in the long run, I'm sure. But just with everything, I didn't tell. I was too scared. I was 8 years old. 8-year-olds don't think very well. Yeah. Well, I will say this. Some late night streams can be. I have been so blessed. If you want to watch late night streams, shout out. There's a good one. There's a good one. Nope, that's not what his name is. The Master Chicken Man. Oh, and I have not seen that one. So the Master Chicken Man, he does the games he's playing right now are a little bit more fighting, but it's a robot against blobs basically. The closest humanoid looking thing is the robot. So those are generally my go-to late night ones. And that sounds cool. I just haven't heard. I'll have to try and find him. I will admit, I don't. I've stayed a bit more away from popular gamers. But here's another one. And we will shout out the Cardboard Cowboy too. Yeah, well, not all of them. The one I know of, what's their names? Okay, I'm gonna go look up the name of who I'm trying to think of and see if I can follow Cardboard Cowboy just so I have it.
People always ask
Come
me.
on, I said pause. And I can see their faces, I just can't see. I just can't remember. Okay, where are you? I know I'm subscribed to you. I may have to go look up on YouTube the one I'm thinking of. Okay, where are you guys? Just in my thing, and I didn't go watch them because Okay, I'm not finding him, but
Danny, go down and get furnace size for the filter furnace size. Sure is like a movie.
I'm looking it up because I cannot for the life of me remember who it is. Hey, should I? I guess I'll catch it just in case because I don't see Steph. You. I understand, Ray. Okay. So, Callie, he's actually one time zone over from me. So he would be Pacific and I'm Mountain, but yeah. You were bunning too. Well, he got double reported. Even better. Now, let's go back to what I was doing and find. Yes, I'm in the right one so I can find them. Evan and Caitlin. That's the one I was looking for. Why did that not come up? I should be. Yeah, I'm following them. Why it didn't come up in the channels I'm following, I don't know. I totally understand that, Ray. I do see what Steph's saying, though. Is that they didn't come to see you, too? Or they came to see both of you? Just because your daughter's there, it made them want to come that much more. So, Steph, Ray's daughter is less than a year old. I can't say for sure, Ray. Okay. I was gonna say, I know if my kids, when they have kids, I may go and I may spend more time with the grandkids than with the kids, playing with them and stuff. But I hope my kids will always know that I love them as much or more. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, Steph, is that that. There's something else going on there. Oh, I remembered someone else. That's another night streamer. He's not always on at night, but he's also a good. And another gold gift! I'm not complaining. He's also a really good evening streamer. And then Ray streams in the. She's more of my. Rather than late night ones, she's more of my evening one. But she may be another good one for you to follow too. Steph. I can see that. So Ray is either doing crafts, like cross stitch or stuff like that, or writing her book. I will say, you probably don't necessarily want to watch her book or to read her book. There's some things that happened there that I had to kind of skim over. But I understand. I'm not complaining that it's there, Ray. I'm just saying that for me, I had to skim over it. I will say I don't know enough about the situation to know. Finally! And I understand that, Ray. I'm not even saying I wasn't. I'm just saying there are times when DCFS is very reduced. and they just pick on, and they literally are just there to pick on people. So that's why I said, that's why I'm kind of being quiet along there, is that's cool, Baby Yoda. And that your in-laws would do that, though. Yeah. And I'm glad he's in a good situation. Part of what I wasn't saying either was a lot of times, so part of my question is why your parents, if they wanted grandkids that, or, if they cared that much, didn't try themselves to get him. But at the same time, maybe that situation wasn't the best. And so that's why I kind of said I'm just not going to say anything. Because it's hard to judge situations unless you are closer to them. Exactly, Steph. And even worse when you can look closer and see some of them literally have an agenda. Like there's indications they specifically were looking for reasons to take a certain kid or set of kids because the kids are well behaved and everything else. And yes, I do know of cases like that. And if it was a savior on his part, then I'm glad it happened. I feel bad that it had, but it's better for him. Like, I feel like he's in a good situation. Let's put it that way. I just know plenty of cases where even in the same area, they've taken kids who parents loved, parents did everything they could to care for them, were doing a decent, a pretty good job considering everything from what everyone else said. So, the parent always parents are always going to question if they're doing their best job. But everyone else felt they were, but DCFS took the kids. And then other situations where everyone around them was like, why are these kids still in the home? And DCFS just kept taking the kids. Not taking the kids, kept returning the kids or not even stepping in at all. Like discounting the reports and stuff. So, and within the very same DCFS offices. So, that's why I don't fully trust DCFS, is because I know there's offices that are corrupt. And I hate to put it that way, but I know there's offices that are corrupt. And I know they haven't come up with a way to get around the corruption. because they don't want to spend the money they need to do so. And from what I've heard and I can't say for sure, is that they take is that if they can get kids that are easy to adopt out, those are the ones they want, because when they can do that, they get a certain amount of money for the rest of the kids until the kids turn 18, even once the kids are adopted. DCFS still gets a certain amount of money every month from the government for having removed those kids from the home. And then, but if they have kids that have issues because of the life they were in, they're hard to adopt out, so they then have to pay money out to take care of the kids. While they still get paid that money, they have to pay out to take care of the kids. So if you can get someone you can adopt out who the only thing you pay for is, who you pay very little to nothing for them for the rest till they turn 18, you have a better income from them than if you take someone out of the home that needs counseling, and you're going to have in foster care for years and everything else. Yeah, I mean, I understand why maybe there needs to be put in for every kid that you get into the system. They're able to care for them. But I think that when you do that, you also need to put extreme measures in place to make sure that it's not being abused. Yeah, I totally agree. The system needs a big overhaul. And I actually have ideas on that, but that's another story. Good, Ray. I think I sent the gift off. Yes, I did. Okay, I just had to make sure. Sounds good, Steph. I totally understand that. I'm actually kind of glad that we have Community Day today, because otherwise I would probably be writing today, and both my back and my hands are definitely appreciating the break. Even though there were some times I was laying down as I was typing. So one of my problems here, not one, the biggest problem I'm having now is the 10,000 words 2 days ago I wrote, and then, or almost 10,000 words, and then 4,500 or so I wrote last night, or yesterday. So, say the least, it left my hands, so the first day left my hands sore. Today, my hands have been, actually, I don't want to use that one. I want to use this. But I had was, I managed to dislocate some bones the first night, I think, slightly. Just because of the way my hands were acting. Sounds good, Ray. So yeah, I hope you're having a good day. Okay, there we go. Don't ask me why that one held. Yes, on the plus side, she has her Baby Yoda costume. And you didn't have to make it or buy it. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it was the baby portion. Go figure. Oh, I bet it's because some people are using it in the baby in a different way. And so so it was blocked. Cool. Definitely a different day and age than Steph and I raised our kids. Because when we were little, you would not give or not little, when our kids were little, you would not give them tablets or anything like that. And I totally understand it. I totally understand it. I'm not complaining. I mean, my kids, you know, my kid, yeah. When I was younger, you would letting your kids watch shows was you very restricted their TV time. Once I had kids, it was more acceptable to let kids more educational shows and stuff. Come on, would you return? So I'm not trying to catch things from across the way. Still not? Yeah. And if you remember the 80s, 70s and 80s was more just restrict screen time. Like the 80s was little to no screen time for infants. But there was that too. There was, yeah, when Steph and I were like the 80s, between school and about 9 p.m., they tried to make the shows very clean, but but they still tried to push that until the age of like 3 or 4, somewhere between 2 and 4, no screen time. Kids weren't to watch it. And then during the after school hours was Sesame Street and yeah. And the key is, if you were in the house, it was go play. What are you doing in here? Why aren't you out playing with your friends? Or, so you were either playing with your friends, supposed to be playing with your friends, doing the outside, but that was if your homework was done and your chores were done. So get your homework done, get your chores done, and get out of here and go play. Only if it's a rainy day should the TV be on, and yeah, Sesame Street or Scooby-Doo or things like that. You were, oh yeah, don't yours also had practice, with your chores. You also had to make sure your piano, or if your parents were paying for you to take lessons or you were taking them in school, you had to make sure to get your practice in every day. So, on where you were, but for summary, on where you were, and on the practice every day, it was something, if you skip one day, you will forget it all type idea. And it's like, but yeah, we had, when I was, what, first grade through sixth grade. Well, no, not first through sixth. 8 through 11. We had a old broken down house on our property. We had a falling down chicken coop on our property. And our parents would kick us out of the house and we would go play in those many times. Nowadays, if you even considered letting your kids in something like that, holy crap, then you knew about it, holy crap. Oh, yeah, my grandma, if she was ever over bad weather, you'd still go out and play. And I just realized the game's been frozen a while. But you'd still go out and play with my grandma. With my parents, at least if it was bad weather, they would say go ahead and be inside. Bad weather or sick. Or if they were, but at the same time, from the time I was, 9? So my siblings were younger than this. My parents would leave for the day to go do work, and they would leave us home. And those days we were supposed to stay inside because they didn't like the neighbors. And so we were supposed to stay inside those days. But so at the age, nowadays a lot of people would throw a fit about you literally coming home from school to no parent home, the oldest kid being like 8 or 9, and watching the kids till like after dinner. Yeah, my guess is your dad was more of the older, but even, yeah, if you were inside, bad weather, inside, go find something to do. Don't just be hanging around doing nothing. You had to be doing something if the TV was working that allowed like 1 or 2 shows. And you notice I said if the TV was working. So my parents, it was only about once a week they would either take the younger children or get someone to watch them until we came home. And the older kids would and we never knew until we got home if mom was going to be home or not. Because what they would do, in those cases, they had a route that they went to go pick up bone offal from different processing places, offal and I think possibly grease and stuff. See, and my parents would even leave basic, if I remember right. Now, sometimes I think they tried to get home in time, but my dad taught me to cook at like 6 years old. Basically, if they weren't home to cook dinner. And my dad taught me to cook so mom had to get a tooth out. I was the only one in school at the time. So Mom left me with Dad and went to her parents to get her tooth removed. And because it never grew in, it just stayed low with the kids and whatever. And she spent a week or 2 or 3, or I can't remember. I know it was it wasn't like a day. It was an extended period. And Dad worked, and I would get home from school. First grade, I'd get home from school and be in charge of myself until Dad got home. Yeah, exactly. And now if you even thought of doing that, now they throw a fit about leaving a 10 or a 12-year-old home for a few hours with kids. And I think there's some good to it and there's some bad. There's some kids that just were not prepared to have that responsibility. They didn't grow up as fast. They didn't have the skills. And yet their parents would still leave them home. Whereas there are other kids who have the skills from a young age and are treated like treated like they don't, because the parents will get in trouble if they do, because it's the way people view things. Yeah. And yet when we were growing up, he could have been left home in charge and no one would say anything. And if the house burnt down while he was in charge, it wouldn't be the parents that, were at fault. It was the kid. And by in charge, I mean you could have left him. Yeah, and I totally get it, Steph. I'm just saying, when we were growing up at like 8 years old, 6, 7, 8 years old, he could have been not only left home alone, but left home in charge of younger siblings. And for hours to even all evening. Yeah, exactly. I get it. I'm just saying worlds. Now you can't make him go or can't leave him home even if he doesn't want to go. And yet before, not only could you leave him home, it was could leave him in charge. Exactly. And if for some reason the house burnt down while you were watching Bubs at 4 years old, wouldn't be your parents' fault, it was your fault. And so that's why I say there's good and bad. And that's actually, I know that that's their reasoning, is they're like, too many kids never got to be a kid because they were taking care of their younger siblings. And so we need to force parents to let them be kids. The problem is that I think they've pushed the line so far the other way that kids can't be that now kids have to stay toddlers, basically. They can't grow up until they leave home. Exactly. The sad part is and I'm going to admit this, there were kids who were not given their kid time. I'm going to be honest. There were kids who did not have kid time. They grew up too fast. Now, some were forced to grow up and some chose to grow up. And yeah. And I do get what you're saying there, Steph. I will say it's not a whole generation, but even my kids say there's more than there should be. And that my kids will say that. Now, part of it was while I stayed within the guidelines, I also insisted on chores and other things like that. Yeah, exactly. I even remember, but the PTSD forced me to grow up. But what happened could just as easy happen nowadays, and does happen as that. So the rules nowadays wouldn't have protected me. So I think that's generally the way older kids, and I'm going to be honest, I think even to today, it's that way, but the freedom they're given is restricted. And that parents have to go out of their way today to give their children opportunities to grow up. And that could be it too. I think it just was something that was accepted too in our day and age. I mean, no one specifically said you do this. Well, actually, people did. Be a good example. You're the oldest. You need to be a good example for your younger siblings. Different things like that. But at the same time, it wasn't explicitly as in, yeah, you know what I'm saying. And I knew I could say, you know what I'm saying, because we grew up in the same we kind of had the same generation type beliefs and stuff that we grew up with. So I knew you'd know exactly. I think I'll take that. I won't complain about reduced bird time. God, they've been gone a while. Let's see how Streamlabs is doing. Or Stream Raiders. Yep, it's ready. looking good this time. Nope. How do you add yourself? Go to streamwriters.com/game. And someone, like, search for a streamer and put in SK Poem. We'll start with that guy again because this one's a lot easier. So I'll switch to viewer just to show you. So you want to go in as viewer, not streamer. Unless you want to play it on your channel. Then while you're streaming, you could go in as streamer. But if you want to join what I'm doing, you go in as viewer. Obviously, it's always that way. So you would be here, but you wouldn't have anything here. And like this. Okay, you'll see like this. So choose a streamer and search. And obviously for you, I'm not going to show up, but for you it would show up in this list. You hit select and then you could do it. And then you can add. So I'm going to go and switch back to captain. So right here, you would choose play as viewer unless you're streaming it on your channel at the time. So you can do both. You can play with others and still stream to your own channel. Just be sure you're choosing captain when you're streaming to your channel and viewer when you're streaming or when you're helping other people. Did that make sense? Wrong one, I need the dark red. So, placing. You will need to place, let's go back to Stream Raiders for a minute. In these green areas, you cannot place in the red areas. You also need to be sure to have troops. So you grab a, let's go back to, you figured, okay. Go out in just as once it'll let me, I'll go back over. There we are. Usually, it looks like it is this time. And it can be a fun game. Is playing. I'll wait to say it with ads. And we're frozen anyway. Let's see, come here, reload again. Okay. I think it's something fun to play just on the side. Another reason I'm doing it, and I'll be honest, is with Twitch terms of service, you have to wait 24 hours before you can share something with other platforms. Well, this way my stream there's extra things even if I had the sound on, because I'm not home, so I'm playing from away. I can go in and start it and stuff and keep Stream Raiders going so that you guys are getting extra content to what anyone watching on Omelette is getting. So there's a reason to watch on Twitch over and above watching anywhere else. And there we go. We need to brew one more. And the Thunderbird fragment. So we really can't do anything more on Wizards Unite today. We have two choices, and I'll let you guys decide. Do we just end here, and let my hands have a 2-day break. Well, actually more than 2 days. While I'm thinking about it, there is something else we need to do. Because I'm pretty sure we have information. That's Community Day. Yep, we have information. So, well, yeah, it would be a 2-day break because this doesn't start till 11. So Monday, we will be writing, and then we will switch over to the Brilliant event as we go on. Okay. Collect 3 ingredients, master note twice, so that means you're gonna have to, it'll be best to have one started, almost ready to finish, so you do the master notes and it finishes, and then the Brilliant Omnoculars. The second one is Quidditch fans, TTD, using it twice, in Quidditch World Cup. 3 is brew 5 potions, collect Brilliant event runestones, and earn spells, foes, and wizarding challenges, and the Brilliant runestones. So that means you're gonna not want to open up your registry at all. So just close out the game rather than place, so you can get that easiest. I'm not sure on. We'll look in a minute. And then you're gonna wait to place. And then Quidditch fans, Wizarding XP, and using Existimal potions. Lovely. And remember, let's see. Oh, okay. So it can be any. I see what it's saying. So it could be the Quidditch fan Hermione, Quidditch fan Luna, or Quidditch fan Neville. That makes more sense. That'll make it easier. Okay. I thought it was one thing. So. At the beginning of see where my potions are at. My guess is they'll be finished just because of the way I'll do things. So then we can start a potion that'll take at least 4 hours at the beginning of stream. And then at noon, we can start the event, use the first master notes that should finish or get close to finishing the first potion. Then we can do the second potion, start it, use the master notes, pick up the ingredients, and start going after things. Now, whether we will win that first day, I don't know. Let me make it very clear. But I'm not seeing any votes either way. and basically would switch over to writing and I'll show you how we'd do that. So we'll start by making sure it's placed, then we would do this, where you can see it's also still up. $15. We can at least pull it down and talk about some of what she's still gonna do. So as you can see, we don't have a problem switching back and forth between the two. Which reminds me, thinking of vampires, Crafting with Ray, you need to describe, or I think it might help to describe it, take a section to describe in your book where she finds out whether it's now or in a future book. I don't know, is she a true vampire or is she not? What is the distinction? Will her child be a vampire or not? Those are things to consider. And I'm not saying it has to be in this book. I know others. So eventually there might be a salute. Okay, so you do plan on addressing it. Then I won't say anything. That's why I just, like I said, I didn't know if you planned to address it or not. Hi, Kid Kazma! I'm trying to think if there's anything else we still have to come in this book. Or in Amy's books, I should say. Think that's it. And that was almost perfect timing to finish those up. We are going, I appreciate you dropping in, Kid Casma, so you're aware what we're doing right now. We finished everything we could on Wizards Unite. All we have left is one thing we either have to wait until later and get in the fortress if we get lucky, or that we have to pop a port key for. And the other one is finishing a potion. So that's all we have left in Wizards Unite today. We talked Monday about the fact that we'll make sure a potion's going at the beginning of the stream. And then we will be writing. We'll be getting with Centaurs Monday. So we'll get with Centaurs Monday. And who knows what else. And then at 12, we will start the event and see how far we get. Depending on how far we get Monday will determine what we do Tuesday. So, that's kind of what the plan is for, and obviously from then on it's just going to be based on what's going on with the Brilliant event, what we do the rest of the week. If you saw, we have a brief outline now of what's still to come in Amy's story. Once Amy's story is completed, I think what we've decided is we will then read through it. We will find a good splitting place. And we all know that there's a possibility with it and add like 20 more things there. These are the things that I could see happening. We know we're going to meet with the Centaurs. We know we're going to do the nerd workout program in COVID. And Amy's going to at least arrange to attend other schools. And she will be taught to put protections on Pac-Lands. And if there's any packs, and then she will proceed to place those protections on the packs that are already created. There will be a gay marriage or relationship in the Utah pack. And there will be a final battle with Fenrir. It's possible she's going to meet some of these. She may not. It's going to be a 2-part story. That's what I'm saying. At least a 2-part. There is a possibility, seeing what's still to come. If we hit, there is a possibility it may even be a 3-part. Just depending on how much extra she adds. Because she may decide to do something with these. She may, who knows, she may actually, as she's trying to figure out the schools so she can know even better on the magical schools creation, something may happen there. We know so far it has every time she's attended another school. We also have down here future books. We will have the Many Adventures of a Chocolate Frog. So far we only have 2 stories written of it. We may do Cursed Child Unharmed, I'm not sure. We will be doing an Elf or Elves, Born to and I Thought Humans. But we're going to just do Born in 2001 because I've figured out that We may have a vampire one, I'm not sure. We are going to have a mermaid story. We are going to have a dragon story. Each of these will be in the very same, in Amy's world. Amy's going to work with this person first. We're doing this one first. Amy's already met this person, the main character of that book. How that's going. But I have a dragon story in mind, and I have a mermaid story in mind. Basically, at least we will be writing the ones that the mermaids they have wrong. The dragons they have wrong. Basically, same idea is the wizarding world doesn't know squat about magical beings. They know the creature. What's going to happen is these people are going to need a way to a school and a way to really learn their magic better. The way I see it, they either have attended human schools or they've been homeschooled. So they've been taught to control their side, or not even taught. Elves, that's going to be a huge thing. Sounds good, right? I'm going to start the Stream Raiders in just a minute. Okay. So the elves had their powers have been hidden. So they've had no clue about their powers. Mermaids are homeschooled or sent to human schools as needed. Dragons are homeschooled or sent to human schools. I'm not sure yet on vampires. But all these different ones so they're going to need a school, and Amy's going to create that school. A school that will teach elves how to use their powers, that will teach mermaids how to best use their powers. Basically, will teach magical creatures how to fully accept who they are and be the best person they can be. Keeping hope at forefront of everything. Wolves will also still be, or werewolves will no longer attend wizarding schools, even if they're born with both wizarding and werewolf. These schools will be magical schools, so regular werewolves will be left as they are, or will be given. Some may choose to attend this school if they're from a magical pack, but if they're not from a magical pack, they won't even be informed about this school. Only wolves from a magical pack will attend this school. And so there's that. But they will be taught to use both their magic and their other abilities. So werewolves will be taught to fight in both forms to protect. The wolves are your protectors. Elves are your you'll find out in the book there what they are, etc. So that's kind of how that's going to happen there. But we also know that my stories take a life of their own, and there's a lot here that I didn't even expect. So we will kind of, you know, that's why I say it's going to be at least 2 books now, because I thought it was only going to be a short story, and then I thought, okay, well, it's too long for a short story. We're at 1 book. Well, we're at 260 pages, 265 pages, and we still have a decent amount to go. So it's a possibility, or not 265, 165 pages. So it's a possibility it could be 2 books. Or, I mean, it could be 3 books. I can't see Amy's story being more than 3 books. I'm going to be honest. I do not think Amy's story will end up more than 3 books. Because I also see some of Amy's story will continue to be shared in the other books. They will, because they in their. So anyway, let's start this battle and we'll figure out who to raid. Usually I choose, but it got the person I would have given anyway, so we're good. Okay, we will leave it here. Tomorrow there will be the chance of, or not tomorrow, Monday. We will have more, as you know. So, and I'm not right. I'm just trying to find the end. And I seriously don't know what the end of this story is. Or I know what the end is, end. But you guys kind of want to have it, and so I need to have more information to know really what the full book is, so I'm doing what I can. Seriously? If Steph is still here, she'll get a laugh at Angel Goddess's last tweet. A true meme.
in the meantime, I'll try and do a couple of extra streams just for vocabulary.
Okay, she's finishing, so I'm glad I didn't write her. Let's actually search. See if there's anyone I don't know on. Not there. I'm trying to find someone. I believe I actually don't have someone in mind. I'm not sure I want to read any of my ones. I have one I possibly could, but I'm a little bit hesitant on. I have an idea. Okay, no one said anything, so let's go drop in on this viewer. Or a random raid. Random raid this person. I have no promises what this channel is about. I have never seen them before. They have 9 viewers right now. It's glass blowing. So we will go watch. We'll raid them, go watch. See how it is. It may be something we may not. We'll see. Or maybe something you guys will enjoy. And I will see you Monday.
Oh yeah, appreciate the raid, Colin. What's going on? What is up? How was your stream?